Welcome back to our podcast. We're the writers from Gaming Today. I'm Nick Pellegrino along with Ramon Scott. We're here to review the games of the NFL in week number 4. But first, Moni, I'd like to point out my Ryder Cup shirt for Team USA. What do you think?
Well, I think the U.S. has their work cut out for them today, trailing the Europeans by a big margin. This would be an epic comeback if they could come back. We talked about it earlier and thought that, with such a strong advantage that the Europeans have on their home soil, that they were a great buy at plus 130. And, hey, we root for the U.S. This would be awesome, but they're in the driver's seat. We're talking about the Europeans.
Definitely. I'm rooting for the Americans, but I also bet on Europe, so I'm looking good right now. It's money management. You got to go by the numbers, not your favorite team. Speaking of teams, let's look at week 4 in the NFL. First game, battle of quarterbacks that were hurt last year. It's winless Houston. The Texans are in Indianapolis to take on the Colts.
Well, maybe it's the do factor here. The game's moved now to a pick. Opened Indy -1, went up to -2.5, but we're seeing a sharp buy as game time approaches on Houston, mostly on wise guy action. We're seeing overwhelming wise guy action on Houston in this game, and the handicappers have also that I follow are kind of leaning towards Houston as well. And well, quite frankly, I'm so impressed by the sharp money in this game that I'm taking Houston as well to beat Indianapolis.
Sounds like a Joe play with a desperate team needing to win. The Texans are 0-3 right now, but even the sharp money is going Houston. Very interesting.
It is, and we'll see. I know the public still kind of thinks that Andrew Luck's going to be a feel-good story this year, and I think people are going to be real interested in that game tomorrow.
So once again, your pick for this game is?
Take Houston. At a pick.
Okay. Next game, we find the Cincinnati Bengals at the Atlanta Falcons in a interconference game, and not much history between these two sides. They only play once every 4 years. What's the number?
Right now it's Atlanta -3.5, 52.5. It opened Atlanta 5.5, so Cincinnati's been taking the action. At least the line's been moving that way. Handicappers that I follow are definitely heavy on Cincinnati. The total opened 48. It's now 52.5.
Wow.
We've been strong on the total all week going over, and we don't mind this move at 52.5. We've missed out on plenty of value. Not a strong play, but it's our lean here on our free picks on the podcast. We're going to give out the over in Cincinnati, Atlanta. The public is heavy on the over in this game, so we're looking square here, but I'm expecting points.
Similar to the Thursday night game, which the number kept rising between the Vikings and the Rams, but still easily went over by halftime almost. Very interesting. We have an afternoon game featuring the San Francisco 49ers without Jimmy G at quarterback, going to LA to take on the Chargers.
Yeah, the Chargers a big favorite in this one, -10.5, and the total now at 47.5. So that total's gone up 1.5 despite the injuries you talked about. Mostly public money coming in on the over, but the professionals are on the under in this game, and I like the move on that. I see the public going over. This total's moved up a little bit. We're going to go under the 47.5 in San Francisco and Los Angeles. I will note also the handicap I follow pretty strong on the Chargers.
Excellent. The Sunday night game, a big game in the black and blue division of the AFC, the North. The Baltimore Ravens are at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And the Steelers are a 3-point favorite, the total of 51. We did see some steam come in on the under in this game, but it didn't move very much. And I want to note that our handicappers that I follow heavy on the over in this game. So when I see that, I see handicappers want to go over and sharp money maybe coming in on the under. I'm going to have to take the under. I mean, when are you going to go? We talked about Pittsburgh in that game against Tampa Bay going over, but when these two teams get together, I always think about defense. And I kind of throw the current history out and go with what you mentioned, the type of games that these two teams play. Baltimore and Pittsburgh, I get under 51. Sign me up.
They've been, every game the last few years has been like 4 points or under. But the one stat, you say recent history may not mean much, but the one stat I like recently is Baltimore is 6-0 against the spread, 5-1 straight up as a divisional road dog. And that includes games with the Steelers, along with the Browns and the Bengals. So I can see the lean that way, going under.
I think you're going to see that approaching a game time. I mean, this game's going to stay right at 3.